Welcome back to Between Drafts. I'm Nathan.
I'm Nat.
Today we're going to talk about Nat's book launch. It happened this Tuesday.
So I guess 2 Tuesdays ago from when you're listening to this, but
we're 3 or 4 days postmortem, basically.
we are. Yeah. This is day 3, right? I guess 4 technically. You count Tuesday, right?
Yeah,
Tuesday,
count
Wednesday,
Tuesday.
Thursday, and we're recording on Friday.
Yep.
Day 4.
In your mind, how did it go?
Good. Actually, you want to just move your? I feel like we've been making the photos, and then we always have drinks blocking us, so we have to put them over here. Good. So I obviously I did the pre-orders through my own site using Shopify, and like that drummed up a certain number of sales, and then came out this week. So promoted it to my newsletter and Instagram and Twitter and everywhere. And the totals I'm pretty happy with. So final number was about 536 copies so far for the first week number. So that includes all the pre-orders plus people who have bought this week. And it's a pretty even split. So it's 264 have bought through me on Shopify so far, and the other 270 whatever have bought on Amazon so far.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. And most of the purchases on Amazon have been Kindle, which I think is expected. 90% Kindle or 80% Kindle.
That's higher than I would have guessed, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess the way I figure it, anybody who wanted to get the physical at launch would have already gotten it from me.
Yep.
And so there, it was a lot of Kindle and paperbacks, and I think almost no hardcovers on Amazon, which not a shocker.
No, I think I come back to this all the time. It bothers me so much that traditional publishing makes majority of debut authors do hardbacks.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
People don't want to pay $30.
It's a lot
for a debut novel.
I mean, a hardcover, I really think, is like a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most people don't prefer to read hardcovers. Even if they're going to read a physical, most people prefer paperback. I'm weird. I like hardcovers, but yeah. And so a lot of them are getting Kindle, and then Kindle Unlimited is the other thing. So I have it in Kindle Unlimited because, again, just very popular with genre fiction. A lot of people will just get it on Kindle Unlimited to see if they like it, and then maybe get a paperback or something later. So it's in that. And the fun thing with Kindle Unlimited is you get paid by the pages read. So I can see how many pages are read every day in Kindle Unlimited, which is another stat you can obsess over, right?
New number to make
a new number. Up. Yeah. And so there have been 1,589 pages read in Kindle Unlimited.
That's what 5 books?
6 about? Yeah. Which, I mean, and I suspect it's many more people who haven't finished
5
it.
chapters in.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the one thing you can't see. I wish I could see how many people downloaded it and how far they gotten it.
Like a completion rate?
Yeah. You know what? Now that I'm saying that, there is a way to see it, I think. I feel like I've seen people talk about that. I think I need to dig into the analytics more and find out how you look at some of that, because I think there is a way to find that information. But for now, I just have, or what I've found so far is the total pages read, which is 1,500 pages.
Nice.
And I looked it up, and it changes every month how much you get paid per page read. Because as I understand it, they take the full pool of what everybody pays to be in Kindle Unlimited. So it's $10 a month, and you can read any book that's in Kindle Unlimited for free. And then they split everybody's $10 a month across all of the Kindle Unlimited books based on how many pages were read in those books.
Sure.
And the numbers, the most recent numbers, I think for April, maybe they're from March or whatever, was that each page was 1/4 of a cent. So.
Okay. So 400 pages for $1?
400 pages for. No, it would be. Right? No. That's not how the math works. It'd be,
I don't know.
It would be $1.60. 400
$1.60.
times 0.004, right? Hold on. 400 times 0.004. Yeah, $1.60.
1/4 of a cent is not 0.004.
Oh, did I say 1/4 of a cent? Sorry, I meant 0.4 cents.
Got it.
Okay. There we go. Yeah. All right. So we were both right in our own ways. Yeah. So it comes out to $1.60 a book, which isn't, I mean, honestly, it's like, that's not that much less than the Kindle royalty.
And is that just profit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Which, if you were selling your book for $2.99, that's about what you would make, whether or not somebody reads it. And so, yeah, I think it's kind of like this trade-off of, you might have a lot of people pick it up in Kindle Unlimited, only read 20 pages, and you make basically nothing. And they might have bought the Kindle ebook if they didn't have it on Kindle Unlimited. But on the flip side, there are a lot of people who might not have picked it up anyway. So at least for now, I'm leaving it in Kindle Unlimited because my main concern is just getting it distributed as widely as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that helps a lot, especially first book, first novel from me, right? Like, I think it helps get over that.
Something that I saw that this seemed to work well was the folks who got the hardback bundle with the audiobook and the Kindle. A lot of them shared the hardback, like a photo of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of them had finished it or were halfway through or something and could actually speak to the story.
That was really nice. Yeah. So I tried to get the hardbacks to everyone a week before pub date, and they all got the ebook a week before pub date as well. So they had a week to at least start it before the actual launch day. And so, yeah, like you said, there were a good number of people sharing it, at least posting photos that they had it. And a good number of people were able to leave reviews, right? So last I checked, there's like 11 Goodreads reviews and 17 Amazon reviews, which, I mean, obviously not a huge number, but pretty good for, the fourth day.
Right.
And a lot of them are from people who either read early copies or got their copy last week and then were able to read it. And so that's just nice to like start getting some social proof up there. So I'd say that part went really well because also I was able to email everybody who got the hardcover and ask for the review.
Emails is nice.
That is nice. Yeah. Really nice. Yeah. So I think that helped a lot. And now settle into the long lifetime of continuing to market it.
So, okay, let's talk about the Amazon thing real quick, because you had tried to change categories, but never let you change categories, but it still hit number 3 on Techno Thriller. Yeah,
this was kind of a mess. So we had planned to change the categories last week that the book was in because some of them are just hyper competitive, like dystopian fiction.
Which is pretty much everything.
Which is like everything. Yeah, seriously. And it's like, I don't want to compete with Sunrise on the Reaping or some of those books that are...
Pretty cool to be number 3 in that category.
That would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool. But significantly harder to compete in. And so had submitted changes for them, I thought, but I guess they didn't go through or the book had already been locked for release. Amazon locks the book a few days before it publishes so that you can't make any changes those last couple of days. You can't change the files you've uploaded. You can't change the categories. I think I can change them again now that it's out. I have to go look, but we must have missed that cutoff or something because the changes didn't go through. So it stayed in the old categories, which was a little annoying. And then the other thing that happened was Amazon just didn't update my rankings for the first 2 days.
Yeah, it was just sitting there.
Yeah, which was super frustrating. So, I mean, on launch day, it sold 100 copies or something, or a little more than 100 copies, and the rankings just didn't move at all. And I was refreshing them all day, which was really frustrating. Yeah. Because I know from Crypto Confidential, they update multiple times a day, right? And when Crypto Confidential came out, they immediately started updating. On launch day, as people ordered, I could see the rank increasing. So that was really annoying. And it didn't even just not update the first day. It didn't update Wednesday either. It didn't change until yesterday morning that it started moving. And so for those first 2 days, it was still showing number 200,000 in the Kindle store, which is so frustrating because that means you're selling one book a day.
And it also on the marketing front, screenshotting those things and then you sharing it is really good marketing.
Yeah, it's great social proof, It's great, oh, hey, other people are actually buying this thing, and maybe you want to too. Yeah. And so yesterday it finally updated, probably I assume that it was higher than what it finally updated to because the sales were 2 days old at that point.
And Amazon's, I think you said it's a pretty short window for what the rankings are based on.
Yeah, I think there's got to be some sort of curve to it or whatnot where the last few days matter, but like the last 24 hours matter the most, I think it is. Because you can see it change as your sales move up and down over like 12-hour periods. So yeah, it finally updated, and the highest I saw it at was at like 12,000, I think, on the Kindle store, which is quite good. It's pretty good. And it got the number 3 new release spot in techno thrillers. So that was cool. And I got to get the screenshot of that, which was very fun. So I'm still a little annoyed about that whole situation. Like, it, based on the number of sales and the rankings of other books in the techno thriller category, it should have hit number 1 at least for a day. But whatever, right? Like, it happens. It'll, that's ultimately like a lagging metric. It's not driving many sales. I don't think most people go to categories to shop for books.
No, definitely not. If anything, it's a little orange banner.
Yeah. It's purely a vanity thing. So it's like just ego that I wanted it. I still wanted it. It still feels good. So yeah. Now, and then the other thing that happened that's good is I did a Goodreads giveaway.
And this was the 100.
Yes. So anybody on Goodreads could enter to get a free Kindle copy of the book. That got promoted to the Goodreads network. It got the book on like 1,000 people's want to read list, which is really cool. So when you look at it on Goodreads, it says, 1,000 people or whatever, like 954. It's weird. There's like 2 different numbers. One of the numbers says 1,200 and one says 954. So I don't know which one's correct.
Either way is okay.
They're both good.
Both good numbers.
Yeah. And so all those people added it to their TBR. 100 of them got it for free, but the other 8 to 1,100 like obviously didn't
know about it, and they have not known about it previously.
Exactly, and they might go pick it up from their list later. So that's cool, and those all got delivered to people yesterday. So that got the book into 100 more people's hands. So there's 650 people right now who have the book. That's pretty cool.
That is really
a lot of people. Yeah. Plus, however many people have it on Kindle Unlimited.
True.
So starting, I think, strong. I mean, it's like very hard to judge these things. Like, obviously, a massive bestseller is going to be 10,000 plus copies the first week. That's like New York Times list. But the vast majority of books are going to be like fewer than 50 copies in their first week. So, for a first self-published novel, it seems pretty good. Like, I don't know. I always want more. So it's hard to be happy with any number.
So now you're focused on how do I sell this thing over time, which is a very different game because you can't just do a launch every other week, unfortunately. Totally. But I guess you are doing your audiobook launch soon. That'll help.
Yep, that'll help. That'll be a good reminder. In like 6 to 8 weeks, I'll be able to launch that. And so that'll be a nice other touch point. And then, aside from that, it'll just be like figuring out how else to continue marketing this thing.
And then you've reached out to what, Kirkus, Publishers Weekly, things like this.
So this is the first thing I'm doing related to that is there are tons of these services where you can submit your book and they distribute it to people who might review it. And then there are a couple of companies that do reviews professionally. So Kirkus and Publishers Weekly are the 2 big ones. Those are the ones that like PRH sends books to. So I got Publishers Weekly and Kirkus reviews for Crypto Confidential. And they also do indie reviews. You have to pay for them, but they still do them.
What is the price tag on these?
It's $450 for Kirkus. And for Publishers Weekly, they sort of have 2 ways of doing it. One is you can pay $25 to submit for a potential review, where they like look at the blurb and the synopsis and decide if they want to review it or not. And if they do, then it's free. Or it's just the $25 and it'll be on Publishers Weekly. Like, it'll be a full review. They also have a partner company called Book Life, which is their like indie reviewing site. And they will do a guaranteed review for, I think it's $400. So those two seemed like the most worthwhile ones to just go ahead and get, because if I get a good review from one or both of them, that's something I can put on the book jacket. Like, people know what Kirkus is. They know what Publishers
That's
Weekly
a good
are.
point, yeah.
Right? Like,
because currently with an indie book, it's very difficult to get anything on the cover.
Yeah. You know, you're really either getting it from reviewers or other authors. I don't really know any other fiction authors yet.
Yeah.
So, you know, I need to build that network, which will be a little bit easier, I think, now that I actually like have the book out.
For sure.
But you know, doing those to potentially get them on the jacket and on the Amazon page, because Amazon, on a book page, there is an editorial review section that you can fill out with reviews of the book, but you got to get reviews. Very hard to do pre-print when you're self-pub unless you have connections already.
For sure.
But I can do them post-print and add them as I go. So those two seemed very worthwhile to do. And then there's another site called NetGalley. And we were talking about this a bit yesterday, where NetGalley basically distributes free copies of your book to review readers. And then they can download it for free. And if they like it, they'll typically leave a review on Goodreads, Amazon, wherever. It's risky because they're usually pretty harsh critics.
And they'll leave a review either way.
Yes. Yeah. And so you hear online in like self-publishing and whatnot discussions, this sort of debate of whether or not NetGalley is worth doing, because you might get a bunch of like 3-star reviews. Even if other people, even if like normies reading the book really enjoy it, the NetGalley folks could be a lot harsher. But I figure it's kind of like, may as well take the risk.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, and also net number of reviews, I think, is often a stronger signal than the actual score.
As long as it's not like a 2.9.
Yeah. As long as it's not like a 3.6 or right. It's like if the Goodreads is above 3.8, right, and the Amazon is above like 4, then it's probably still a good book. Yeah. And so getting it into more of those people's hands, I think, is just worth doing. And they could also really like it and leave a bunch of really good reviews.
100%.
So that would be good too. The thing I think about a lot too is that, you know, books primarily spread via word of mouth, and different people have different like word of mouth values, because somebody like you or me, if we recommend a book, that probably leads to way more sales than somebody who like doesn't read that much and isn't known in their friend group as a big reader. But the big readers with a disproportionate word of mouth influence are the ones who are hanging out on NetGalley and some of these other sites. So I figured, you know, if they like it, one person there might bring in like 10 more readers or 100 more readers. So we'll see how that one goes. And aside from that, working through some of these other like distribution, syndication networks for possible early reviewers. And that's a lot of just like filtering and trying to get a sense of, is this legit? Is it worth my
A lot
time
of things
and money?
don't seem legit.
No. A lot of them seem really sketch. But it's hard because you can't totally judge by like the quality of the website, because they all have terrible websites.
Yeah, that's tough.
And so you kind of have to like spend a decent amount of time on Reddit or on blogs. And even if somebody says something's a bad investment, that doesn't necessarily mean it is, because
it means they had a bad experience.
Exactly. They might have had a bad experience, or some people are trying to do all the marketing for their book with like $100, right? And so that's going to limit your options pretty significantly. My philosophy has been much more like, if it seems remotely like it could help, I'm just going to try it.
Have you thought about Amazon ads?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Actually, I reached out to somebody, and we're going to do a Between Drafts episode with him. He's like an Amazon ads guy.
Perfect.
And so he's going to come on and he's going to show me how to set it up for Husk.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be like marketing for him too. So it's like cool,
Yep.
win-win, and get those rolling, because those do move the needle.
They're kind of the most straightforward way to do it, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. And the nice thing with them too is like there's the direct attribution, right? It's like you're paying $1.50 and then somebody comes and they buys, and, you know, even if you're breaking even on that, your book is still getting in front of a lot of people because you're only paying for the clicks, not for all the impressions. And so a lot of people are probably still seeing it and getting reminded of it. And there is that whole element with this of like, people need to see something and get reminded of it 5, 10, 20, 50 times before they actually buy it. And so just finding more ways to get it on people's radar, I think, is always a good thing.
That, and then if you thought about Facebook ads, I feel like those would be trickier because you can't really see, okay, 100 people clicked, how many people actually bought.
Yeah. This is another one that I'm going to have to really spend some time figuring out. I'm going to get all of these review sites done first because some of them have a long lag. Sure. Right? Like Kirkus is going to be 8 weeks and Publishers Weekly is like 6.
Yeah. These things always take longer than I think they should.
Yeah. And I know that the Amazon ads and the Facebook ads and everything will be more effective the more reviews there are on the book.
Absolutely.
And so trying to figure out how to get those up and then start playing around with those things. But yeah, with Facebook, what you see a lot is people will send the traffic to their own page. They won't send it straight to Amazon. So it'll go to a landing page for the book where they then send them to Amazon so they can like get some tracking, or they send them to their own store, or they capture their email and give them a free chapter. You see a lot of variations on it, but I haven't seen a clear, like, this is what you should do. Because like you said, it is a lot harder to do that attribution. There's no way to know if you're sending them directly to Amazon, there's no way to know if when somebody got there from your Facebook ad, they bought.
But at the same time, the other way, you're adding steps to a funnel, which is almost never a good idea.
It's almost never a good idea. Yeah. So my intuition is that it would be better to send them straight to Amazon.
But then you're flying blind.
Yeah, completely flying blind. So because you'd have to just try to make an estimate based on your cost per click.
Yeah.
Right. It's like if you can get clicks to your Amazon page for your book for under $1, which I think would be insane and probably impossible, but like you might be making a good ROI on that. But if it's $5 a click, it seems a lot harder to justify.
And somebody who sees an ad probably not buying the hardback.
Yeah. The thing that I want to try, but I haven't seen anybody do, that I think would be an interesting experiment is doing like Instagram Reel and TikTok ads where it's like an actual bookstagrammer talking about the book and not like a generic ad.
Yeah.
I actually had a publisher reach out to me to put ad spend behind one of my videos on TikTok because the video was doing well and they wanted to juice it and to have the video have a link directly to buy the book I was talking about. And that's the thing you can do. And so I kind of want to play around with a bunch of videos to promote Husk on Instagram and then see, once I get a video that works really well, put ad spend behind that and see what the conversion rate on that is.
Yeah.
Because a video with the buy now link on it on Instagram that feels like a normal Bookstagram video, that could potentially do very well and be like hyper targeted. So I want to try that out at some point. A lot of things to try.
Can you do that on TikTok?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, did I tell you this? My TikTok account got hacked.
Sweet.
It's gone.
That's great.
Yeah.
How?
It got, I don't know. It just redirects to some like random Middle Eastern dude now who made all these like random new videos, but still has all my followers. Yeah. And like, yeah, it's crazy. My TikTok's just gone.
There's no way to.
I tried. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, okay. I appreciate being in the Meta Google ecosystem more now because I think it was just, and I must not have had 2FA on it or something, but I don't know how they got access to it because I use like pretty complicated passwords and all. Like, it's very strange to me that they were able to pull it off. I don't know what could have happened because they didn't get my email. They didn't get my SIM card, but they found some way to get the account. Yeah. So
I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea either. Yeah, it's just gone.
That sucks.
Yeah. So if I want to do TikTok again, I have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
But the flip side, I don't know if TikTok is worth investing in just because of all the like ban stuff. I don't know if the ban is ever actually going to happen or if it's just posturing. and I have to start from zero. But at least by starting from zero, I don't have like the stale account problem.
When you're thinking about this, yeah, I was going to say it might actually be a plus, one, and two, can't you just make the videos for Instagram and just post them over there anyway?
Yes.
The exact same.
It's not much more work.
Yeah.
So I should probably just do it. But yeah, it is annoying, right?
It's super annoying.
Yeah.
Especially when talking to publishers, like, oh, I have 150,000 followers on TikTok, and it goes a long way.
Just kidding. It's gone.
Yeah. I used to.
Now
this
yeah.
Middle Eastern man
Yeah,
does.
now they're all in Arabic. But
yeah.
It's super, super weird. But yeah, so gonna get all the video stuff going more, get all these review things submitted. And then once the review stuff is submitted, then I can start, I think, focusing more on like, okay, what are the more like daily things,
right,
the like habits that are actually going to help compound this over time.
For sure.
And I do think that short form video is going to be the best.
Yeah, I agree.
I know how to do it, I'm decently good at it. I've got some audience as a starter, and can just keep going with that. And then obviously the other thing is just writing more books.
Mm-hmm.
So finishing the latest draft of the novella today, and then might just turn it in. We were talking about this a bit before. I can't decide if sitting on it a week and doing another round is going to make it any better, or just moving laterally. I think it's probably just going to be moving laterally at this point. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and get that one submitted too.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully if I'm turning it in now, let's see. I turned in Husk February, like the second week of February, and then it came out end of May. So call it 3.5 months. I'm turning it in beginning of June. I mean, that puts me in late September.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
Right. Could take a little bit longer and have it early November. Like, that's soon. It's really soon.
It is soon.
4 months.
And it's a shorter book, so the process might be
faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only 30,000 words to edit instead of 100.
Exactly.
So yeah. Anything else we should talk about with the launch stuff?
I was trying to think did you think there was anything you did that was super effective? And it sounds like it sold a fair number day 2 and 3 as well. Like it wasn't all just day 1.
Yeah.
I would have expected. I mean, most launches, I feel like, unless there's some kind of deadline or something, but day 1 is typically
when most of it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the outstanding question is whether I hurt myself by doing the pre-orders, right? Because it was, 250 sales that happened on my store instead of Amazon. Yeah. But I think it was a good thing overall, because getting that more direct relationship, the profit per book was obviously higher, and getting to like just have the relationship profit per book, getting it rolling a little bit earlier, and then having some of those people to be able to like leave reviews and talk about the book during launch week, I think really helped.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's this element now of like, okay, 600 people have it, 99% of them have not read it, and so I kind of have to wait a few weeks
there's a lag
for these people to actually like read it, so that they can hopefully talk about it and recommend it and like get that flywheel going. Because ultimately, that's the only way a book sells long term, is just the recommendation flywheel of people who read it.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a little bit of that now. Like, okay, now I got to kind of wait. And it's nice that I got that started a week earlier with all of these people. So I think overall, I would say very happy I did the pre-orders on my site, and I think I'll do it again.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, anything else that I think honestly, just the biggest, it's not even a surprise, because I knew this was going to be hard. It's just like, it's hard to sell books, dude.
Mm-hmm. It's really hard to sell books.
It's really hard. And, and I think it goes back to this element too of like, if you're trying to build an audience to sell a book, ultimately the only audience that will really help you sell a book is people who have read your books.
Yeah.
Like doing articles and recommending other books and all these things, like, yes, that definitely helps. Yes, it converts to some people buying, and some people being interested, but that conversion rate is just so much lower. And so I do think that that advice in the fiction world of like, get the first book out, right? Like get something for people to actually read before they decide to like follow you or engage with you is good advice. It's not saying that, I'm not saying don't do any audience building beforehand, but it's probably going to convert less than you think it is.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you've kind of got to be prepared for that. And definitely don't want to put off launching by a year or something just so you can build a bigger audience beforehand. Cause I think it's way better to just like have the books out and start building that audience. There's cool things about that too, where it's like, I didn't realize that, you know, if you've bought a book from an author on Amazon, Amazon emails you when that author has a new book coming out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like, and you might have to, I don't even know if you have to opt in to following the author or not, because you can follow authors on Amazon and Goodreads. But a bunch of people texted me saying that like,
oh, from Crypto Confidential.
yeah, they're like, oh, Nathaniel Eliason has a new book coming out. And I was like, that's cool. I didn't know that was going to happen. And so Amazon and Goodreads are almost like the best platforms to be building these audiences on, because like that is going to be the highest impact place for people to like find out about the book and to go buy it. And so that was kind of neat to see too. And kind of just goes back to like, yeah, the best way to market a book is writing a book. And, you know, obviously capturing emails and doing other things to support it and all this other stuff. But like, it did kind of confirm that, okay, this isn't going to be as easy as like publish it, email my list, and then go back into hiding, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's going to be a very long road ahead. And now I just have to figure out what to do on that long road. Yeah.
Anything else for the launch that we should hit on? Anything that surprised you?
Not really. I guess I have the benefit of having done it before, you know, so it's like, with Crypto Confidential.
Did it feel a lot different doing it for this one? Fiction, nonfiction, indie versus traditional?
I think it felt different because I sort of knew it wasn't going to be this like, oh my gosh, I'm done. Like it's out. I can chill. It was like, okay, cool.
I can retire now.
Yeah. It's like, okay, cool. It's out. I have to go back to work.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was working on the novella on Wednesday again. And it's like, it took Tuesday for all the launch focus. And then obviously I'm still posting things and responding to things and doing launch stuff throughout the week. But it's like, you got to keep working. Right. And like, it doesn't really stop after launch day.
Yeah.
And so, and I think like knowing what a long time period like sales happen over and how long it takes people to actually read books after they buy them and all these things is like, I'm just more patient this time. I'm not expecting like tons of stuff to happen during the launch week, especially because it's fiction and not nonfiction. And so I think that patience and that calmness was better this time. And a little less like rose-eyed, you know, rose-colored glasses, like going into it, right? Just being like, all right, no, like we're gonna get as many sales as possible, and then get more sales after, or just like keep going, keep selling. And I feel like that made it less of a emotionally erratic experience, for lack of a better way to describe it.
Yeah.
So that's good. Like, yeah. I don't know if there's anything that I like didn't do that I should have done. That's one question I'm thinking about. Like, you know, obviously you can always do more, but I think that my intuition and my strategy of like, get the book out there, get some hype around it, and then reach out to some of these other podcasts and stuff is just a better strategy than trying to force all of it beforehand.
Yep.
Because it's like, there's just so much indie fiction that gets published. It's very hard to stand out, and you've got a lot easier time pitching yourself when people have already read it and liked it than going into it. Yep. So I feel fine with that decision too. And it's like, just keep doing this, keep doing all this stuff. Like you want something that can work like every day and not just work during launch week. And yeah, it's like now I'm on that part of it. Well, and now the challenge is going to be, okay, like how do I figure out how to balance my time?
Yeah. Between marketing and writing.
Writing and marketing. Because there wasn't ever that much that I could do for Crypto Confidential. But now for Husk, there is a lot more I can do. And I have a lot more control and a lot more.
Yeah, you do have way more control.
Yeah. And a lot more like ROI on my activities.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got to figure out like, okay, you know, the morning is going to be writing and the afternoon is going to be marketing. And I think that's just what most of my days are going to look like now, where it's like I get up and I work on the next book until lunch. And then after lunch, I'm figuring out how to market the existing books. And it's like, that's my job now.
Yep.
Right. But that's kind of fun. It's like, you know, I used to run a marketing agency. Like I like marketing. I'm decent at it.
Yeah.
Can figure it out. So that'll be nice to share over the next few months, like what's working and what's not, what of these review sites actually end up being meaningful and which ones don't, and like build out that plan over time.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it becomes more repeatable for book 2
Exactly.
or for a different series or something.
Exactly. Kind of refine that playbook.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel good.
Yeah. Congrats.
Thank you.
First of all.
Yeah.
It's sick.
I know. I feel like I'm not good at celebrating things. I'm just like, okay, cool. It's done. Like had a glass of champagne, off to the next one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like the process. So keep going.
There you go.
Yeah. What's new with you?
Just waiting on the editor.
He's got 3 more days, right?
Yeah, something. I
one
wouldn't
more
be
day.
shocked if it's next week, but we'll see. I'm a little anxious.
Yeah. Because he pushed it back once already, right?
Yeah,
But yeah.
If it's good,
Hopefully it means that it's a lot
it's
of care
good,
is
I
going
don't
into
care.
it. Exactly. Yeah. If it's good, then it's worth the wait.
Yeah,
What's going on with your novella?
just it's kind of sitting there. Yeah,
You're waiting. Are you letting it sit before you get into editing it?
yeah,
Cool.
exactly. And I'm trying to. Yeah, so I've been focused on a lot of other stuff other than book writing over the last week, I would say,
Yeah.
which is making me anxious to get into the editing of the book.
Dude, I can't go more than like a week.
Yeah.
I last week I wasn't really working on a book as much. And then this week a little less. And I'm just like, man, I kind of want to get back to it.
Yep.
Which is a good sign. But yeah, it's like, I totally know what you mean about feeling antsy,
Mm-hmm.
not working on
I'm
the
like,
book.
I have this like sense of anxiety that I should be editing the book, and I'm like, well, it'd be pointless.
Yeah,
at the
exactly. You're
moment.
waiting for edits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have more to share there next week.
Mhm.
Are we doing a recursion next week? Or is it one more week?
Maybe one more week.
One more week. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh yeah, we're not recording next week. So the week after.
Perfect.
But that shouldn't affect anyone listening because we're 1 week ahead of schedule right now. So you'll get caught up and then but it'll be the next episode. So if you're listening to this next week, it'll be recursion. So give it a read if you haven't yet, and we'll be talking about that.
Sweet. Subscribe if you haven't. This is all we do. Talk about books.
Yep.
Yeah. And buy Nat's book Husk.
Grab a copy of Husk.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next week.